Your essay questions for Unit 2. There are two questions and you need to answer both of them, and please type them out. So the first part of the essay says, why is it so dry in the Great Basin? The Great Basin is the area between the Sierra Nevada and the Rocky Mountains, like Nevada, Utah, very dry out there. There are a few things I'd like you to talk about. Number one, and probably the easiest aspect of it, is that it's away from a large body of water, like the Pacific Ocean. Number two, it sits under high pressure most of the year. In a high pressure area, the air is subsiding. As it subsides, it heats up at the dry adiabatic lapse rate, which increases the moisture holding capacity of the air, which lowers the relative humidity. Okay, and number three, you want to talk about the fact that it's in the rain shadow of several mountain ranges. So the storms that come to the United States often come off of the Pacific, and as those storms, called mid-latitude cyclones, as they hit the Sierra Nevada, the air is forced to rise. That's called orographic uplift. And as the air rises, it cools off. And if it cools off enough, you'll reach something called the dew point temperature, where the air is fully saturated. It's 100% relative humidity. At that point, the moisture is squeezed out of the air. Something called condensation occurs, where the water vapor goes from a gas to a liquid on little particles in the atmosphere called condensation nuclei, and we get clouds and rain and maybe snow, depending on the temperature. So as the air comes down the leeward side of mountain ranges, and again, it's heating up at the dry adiabatic lapse rate, and that lowers the relative humidity and makes precipitation less likely. So a lot of the moisture is squeezed out on the windward slopes, which would be the west side of the mountains, the major mountain ranges, the Sierra Nevada. And so by the time you get to the leeward side, not as much moisture, plus the air is subsiding. To make it rain, we'll learn in the next essay question, you want the air to go up, not down. Okay, your second essay question is, why is precipitation so high in the Amazon Basin? The Amazon Basin is in South America. It's the area that's drained by the Amazon River. So first of all, there's lots of evapotranspiration going on. Evaporation is a liquid to a gas. Transpiration is how plants give off moisture to the atmosphere. And there's a lot of vegetation in the Amazon Basin. So first of all, there's a lot of moisture in the air due to evapotranspiration. Then, late in the afternoon, on many days in the Amazon, the ground gets really warm, the air above it gets warm, and the air rises. Now, to make it rain, we need the air to go up. As it goes up, it cools off at the dry adiabatic lapse rate until maybe we reach the dew point temperature. Then if the air continues to rise, if it's unstable, it cools off at the wet adiabatic lapse rate. You get condensation onto condensation nuclei, clouds and rain. When I was in the Amazon, it rained every day at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Thunderstorms, it would absolutely pour. Another reason why it rains so much in the Amazon Basin is the fact that it's in the intertropical convergence zone. It's where the trade winds converge, they come together. So we get something called convergent uplift. The air comes together and it's forced to rise. Again, as the air rises, it cools off at the dry adiabatic lapse rate till we reach the dew point temperature. Then the air will begin to cool off as it rises at the wet adiabatic lapse rate, condensation on the nuclei, clouds, and then rain. So in the second part of the essay on the Amazon, you want to talk about evapotranspiration. You definitely want to talk about convectional uplift and how it works, and convergent uplift and how it works. Hope that helps. So on your exam, be sure that you type out the vocabulary words and the definitions, type out the questions and the answers for the study guide, and type out the essay question. I would like you to use two sources on the essays. I can be one, this YouTube review, but please find another independent source and type out the complete citation. All right, good luck. Do a good job on this.